And we're live. What's up, everybody? Photo gear fun, new, and trying the first time with the studio streaming. Also, the Fuji X-T200 we're using, which is the camera that we're streaming with, and trying a different audio setup. So there's a lot of possibilities for things to go south here. I don't know how the internet is with all the people in quarantine, especially on a Sunday, how things are going to go. But we'll see. Hopefully somebody joins. And turn this into a pretty much talk about anything stream, as the studio is giving me all kinds of errors, not maintaining enough, not sending enough video. Okay, that's not good. I even, instead of 4K, which I usually stream in 4K, I'm streaming in 1080p, so I'm not sure. Pardon me while I look away for a second. Yeah, it does look like there's some dropped frames. Hey Donna, how's it going? How's the audio? Oh, what are you cooking? Oh, thanks Donna. Thanks for sharing the stream. Does the audio sound okay? Hey, the Orlando guy, welcome. I'm hoping the studio holds out. I'm hoping the internet connection holds out. We are streaming on the Fuji X-T200, which is a fairly reasonably priced Fuji. Oh, great. Thanks. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks, Donna, for sharing. We're going to talk about, well, we could talk about a lot of camera stuff, or we could talk about Disney stuff, or we could talk about just about anything. Thanks. This is the Fujifilm X-T200 with the 35mm f2 lens on there. It's not the fastest focusing lens, although of course it focuses very quickly, but I wanted to test out the X-T200. I've done some videos on it. I wanted to see how it does as a live streaming camera. It definitely is doing well grabbing onto my face. I can see the box, but yeah. So we'll do some craziness, see how things go with this camera as we talk about just about anything. Chili dogs, but 100 times better, wow. Yeah, I just picked up, well, not just, but a little while ago. We'll see how it does. This is the EOS RP, and I got this with a 24-240 lens on there. So this is theoretically my travel setup if I want to bring a big camera. But I had to cancel a trip. I had a trip set up to go actually next week to Disney. And I think I was going to bring that. Also, grab the EOS R, that autofocus. And I really enjoy this camera. I've got a new lens here too. This is the Tamron 70-200 f2.8. It's a beast of a lens. I haven't been able to get out and test with it yet because of all the quarantine stuff. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody is safe and healthy and happy. I know this quarantine stuff can be a little nerve-wracking. I work from home in my real job, so I'm kind of used to it. But I am excited about that EOS R5, although who knows what the price is going to be. It's supposed to be, from what Canon is saying. I was actually just looking at Canon rumors. And from what they're saying, it's going to be a beast of a camera. But we'll see. I don't have a lot of faith in Canon. Also got this 24-70. I'm going to start doing some portraits. So this is the Tamron 24-70, another beast of a lens. My daughter wants to get into modeling, so we're going to go out when this is all done and get some pictures, hopefully. But this is, I've done a review on this lens too on the channel. I'm going to do that 70-200 review at some point. But it's a pretty good lens. Yeah, the R5, who knows what it's going to cost. I'm guessing probably $4,000 or so. but 4K 120 would be interesting. Got the Fuji X-T3 that does it at 60, and I ordered the X-T4. Not sure when that's going to come out, but that only has, well, only that has 4K at 60 as well. So, Richard, are you a Canon shooter, or are you just excited for the R5? Also got a new microphone, which I haven't reviewed yet, but this is a, let's see how the autofocus does. Ah, come on. Cover my eyes. There, oh, there we go. Ooh, no. All right, anyway. This 35mm lens was really made for photography. Not a great video lens necessarily, but it seems to be doing okay, at least on my face. Oh, you do shoot Canon? I started out with Nikon, but I switched over to a couple Canon cameras, and I buy Canon lenses now because I have my Fuji with an adapter. I have the Canons, but even with the new Canon, I'm using the adapter. And then my Sony camera, my A7 III, can all shoot on Canon lenses. So these two lenses, the 24-70 and the 70-200 I bought, are Canon EF mount. So it makes it easy for me to buy one lens and use it on three different cameras, or potentially 4 different cameras with the X-T4. Yeah, I use the EF glass. The RF glass is too big and expensive right now. I don't know. Get really good prices on the EF, and the 24-70, or I think they have something like that for RF, but it's crazy expensive, and I'm not a pro photographer, so my money's not made in the photography business. I can't just justify spending that money. Plus, they're big and heavy, and the reason I want a mirrorless camera is because it's supposed to be small. The only prime Canon lens I have is the 85mm, the older 85mm f1.8. I've got the 70-200, the Canon 70-200 f4. This little guy here that I bought used. It's a great lens, good for landscapes, very light. So if I don't need f2.8, this goes with me. And then I've got a couple other Tamron and Sigma lenses for Canon EF. But I'm excited to try out that 70-200 Tamron lens. I'm shooting on a prime right now, but I know it's a studio shot, but generally I like the flexibility of the zoom lenses. What body are you shooting with these days in lenses? I hope my background lights don't die. I don't know. I don't know how charged the battery is for those. I guess we'll find out if it crashes. Trying to think what else. I got a new laptop for editing. So I was planning on traveling next Thursday down to Disney. And obviously with all that's going on. Ooh, wow. That's quite a rig. Do you make your money doing photography? Oh, the M50. I've got the M50 back there as well. You can't see it's out of frame. That's a great little camera. Thanks, Donna. I've got this quarantine beard and hair going. Don't feel like shaving, and I'm not going to risk getting a haircut. So. I didn't really have a whole show planned. I did I can show some pictures with this. So this is, let's see if it focuses. This is the Panasonic G9 with the 100 to 400 lens. So I have a D7500 with the 150 to 600. This is so much lighter, and it is micro four thirds, so maybe not as great as a full frame, but got quite a few good shots with that. Oh, so you use that 1DX for video. Oh. I have to check out your channel. I'm always looking for good videos, especially these days. Oh, wow. That sounds interesting. I can't imagine trying to write a film and then maybe even trying to film it. Let's just have a look. It's winter and spring. We have songbirds here in North Carolina. So this is a new lighter setup for me. It's much lighter than that Nikon D7100 with that Sigma 150 to 600. But this combination, the Panasonic G9 and the 100 to 400 Leica lens, the Panasonic Leica lens, pretty amazing. You can see how sharp that one is. And these cardinals love to hang around. Usually they're on the ground, but we do have a lot of these finches, and this is a tufted titmouse. Hopefully that quality is coming through. It takes a minute or two, I think, to draw full resolution, but I love doing bird photography. Been doing a little bit of that since I can just step out into my backyard. But it's a nice little setup. Not necessarily inexpensive, but pretty high quality. You can get some nuthatches that visit here too. Love these little guys. They're very quick. Thanks, Donna. The ISO for those shots is actually 400. It might not be showing up well on YouTube. I keep my ISO generally at 400, even on the Nikon. I try to keep it at 400. But yeah, I think maybe they're showing up as more grainy than they are on the stream for some reason. It does look, I actually compared them side by side with the Nikon shots with that Sigma lens, and there's just a little bit more noise, but really not that much. The Panasonic G9 does a really good job, even for a micro four thirds camera. Really pretty happy with it. And it's so much lighter, it probably weighs about a third of the other setup, the Nikon, with this big beastly setup. This is quite a beast. So I don't want to say it's collecting dust because I'll still use it from time to time, but compared to, and the weight is definitely much less. Let's see. But I actually use the G9 for my videos. So if you watch any of my videos, I do my B-roll with the G9. That has the 4K live view. So I can just set up a start and an end point, and the camera will actually do pans and zooms for you. It's really a great feature. One of the reasons I love Panasonic cameras. Yeah, I don't usually shoot birds in motion, so I keep my shutter speed and I shoot an aperture priority. So f6.3, 400 ISO, and just look at kind of bird portraits. If I were shooting, try to get birds in flight, I would definitely bump that shutter speed up, but I like to grab portraits. Thanks, Donna. This XT200 seems to be doing a pretty good job, actually. Surprised. Let's see. Focus, just as I say that. There it goes. This 35mm lens is not the greatest. But this is the mic that I'm using. It's a Ceremonic. It comes with one receiver and two. This is a transmission unit. It's kind of like the Rode Video Mic Go, I think it's called. But this is a microphone built in, and then you have a lavalier mic. So I'm wearing one. I've got another one here. And then the receivers on the camera. Pretty cool. Hopefully the audio sounds good. I usually plug it into my PC. This time I plugged it into the camera and did some testing. It seemed to be okay. I'm surprised the background lights are holding out. Thanks, Donna. Richard, I've got, let's see. It's focusing on some of them. I've got a few rigs. I've got a problem with buying cameras, but I shoot a lot of Sony and Fuji. Just started getting into Canon. I've always had a Micro Four Thirds. I've had some Panasonic G7, G85, now the G9. So I've always shot a bunch of different stuff, and it gets confusing sometimes. You have to remember, especially with the Sony stuff. I think for me, Fuji actually fits my shooting style best. Just the way the camera works. I like the Fuji system for that, although their menus aren't as great as Canon. Hey Molly, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, I do. I've got the little Sony RX100 that I brought with me last time I went to Walt Disney World. It's a great little camera. But really, I keep coming back to this little thing here. Let's see if it'll focus. Probably not. But this is the Osmo Pocket. And nope. Oh, there we go. But this is an amazing little travel camera. Shoots 4K, pretty good quality. It's got the built-in gimbal. I just love it. It's super simple. Just put it in your pocket. Yeah, my A7 III, which is my main camera. Normally I would stream on my A7 III. I love that camera. I do more photo than video, and it takes amazing photos. Yeah, Molly, I know that you weren't a fan. I guess, I'm not sure. I guess everybody has a different need. With the RX100, Molly, I know you have that now. It's a more well-rounded camera overall. You can zoom, and there's different things that you can do. The stabilization is not great, but that's one of the reasons why I love the Osmo Pocket. It's super stable, minus that kind of, a little jitter you see when you're walking. And this Fuji is doing a great job of keeping my face in focus. Molly, I've got the Fuji X-T200 that I'm actually streaming with, kind of testing that one out. So you'll see some strange stuff in the stream, but I'm looking at the autofocus and the eye tracking. It grabs the correct eye too, which is pretty good. I did some videos on this one. The gimbal speed. Yeah, I actually bought the control wheel because I agree, Molly. It's hard to use if you're using the screen. I bought the little control wheel. I think I bought the pack. But this little, let's see. Hey, it did it. This little guy right here. So you got the scroll wheel to tilt and pan, and it makes a huge difference. Plus you've got a single button click that you can do to go into vlog mode. Yeah, I can't, I don't know what it is, Molly. I can't get into using my phone for video. I know the iPhone, I've got a Samsung Galaxy S9, and the video's okay. There's just something about it, especially that phone. I don't know. It just looks like video from a phone. But that's why this XT200 I was hoping to test out my trip, and whenever I travel again, I'm sure I'll get around to it. And it comes with, I got a kit lens. I don't have the kit lens on there now. This is a prime lens, but kit lens seems to do a pretty good job as far as stabilization goes, but it's not great. It's not Osmo Pocket stabilization, but I do love the colors coming out of the Fuji. So the Fuji stream here is not, I'm not touching the colors in any way. So this is kind of just straight from the XT200. It definitely does great with photography. I've been chasing my cat around. Poor little guy. He's an unwilling model. Whenever the camera comes out, he scatters, but I try to grab some shots. Yeah, Molly, I've seen a lot of video from the iPhone 11. I'm just not ready to switch to Apple yet for my phone. So I did buy an Apple laptop for the first time ever. I've been a PC guy pretty much since PCs came out. So I've got an Apple over here, a MacBook that I bought. And I converted one of my PCs over to Mac OS. And I do love AirDrop. My wife's got an iPhone, but I don't know. I'm still stuck with Android for now for my phone. I do know the cameras. My wife's got an iPhone 11 Max, and the cameras are amazing. The video is great. The pictures that she takes are really, really good. And luckily, my wife is not paparazzi like I am. If I had that camera, I'd be driving everybody crazy, or that phone. But I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not going to get an iPhone, just not in the cards right now. Yeah, so the Moment lenses, they seem to be pretty good, but they're also pretty expensive. I mean, if I pay, I don't know what the iPhone Max goes for, $1,100 or whatever for a phone, and I have to spend another $150 on a lens. If I'm buying it just as a camera more than a phone, I'm probably just going to buy a camera. Yeah, the Moment does make some nice lenses. They've got an anamorphic lens if you're into video, and they've got a macro lens, I believe, and then a wider angle. But yeah, it's a great company. They make great products. And again, I don't want to, if I'm going to carry a lens around, I'll carry a lens around for my camera, not my phone, but everybody's different. So Molly, I'm guessing your children are home. I know here in North Carolina, the kids are home. I think they're probably home everywhere. I think you mentioned earlier that's got to be challenging. You become a mother and a teacher. I can't, my children are pretty much grown, so I don't have that worry, but I can't imagine with all the other stuff that's going on, you know, having children. So our company now, we're working from home, and other folks obviously have children, and trying to balance that. I've been working from home for a year or more, and it's pretty easy for me, but I can't imagine transitioning and having to deal with children and then trying to be a teacher on top of that. My hat's off to you. Oh, you're going to do digital learning. Yeah, the digital zoom is still pretty bad. The cameras are going to be around for a while because of that. They're getting better. Like even on the Samsung phone, the 2x optical zoom is nice, but I'm never going to be, I can't imagine I'll be taking bird pictures with a mobile phone anytime soon. Yeah, Molly, I've been struggling with trying to create content. I started yesterday and was going to make a review of this new microphone that I got. I don't know, it's hard. Even though I have the time, I just feel like even though there's probably nothing better I could be doing, I just feel like it's not, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I feel like I'm not really adding any value. It's kind of just this trivial talking about cameras things when people have more serious issues going on, but maybe that's what people need. I do watch a lot of Disney vlogs now, especially since I had to cancel that trip. Watching some of my own stuff, which is kind of funny that, every time, it seems like every time I go down there, I've got a new camera to test out, and trying to figure out which camera I used is pretty fun. But yeah, and I got this little, so I didn't buy a MacBook Pro. I got this little Razer, dirty as anything. Well, that focus is not great. 13-inch that was supposed to be is pretty hard. It's just, I guess it's a combination of not being motivated and just, again, feeling like, why bother? I wanted to do this live stream to see if I could just connect and chat a little bit. I haven't done a live stream in a while, but trying to actually produce video, I don't know. I shot the B-roll. I did a stop motion, which I've done in one other video. Stop motion is a lot of fun if you haven't done it, but I put those two together and just didn't feel like doing any audio and didn't really feel like doing any more editing. The old Epcot mug. That autofocus is not great, is it? Yeah, this 35mm lens is old and good for photos, but that's about it. Let's see, how long have we been going here? It keeps dropping frames. I guess maybe my internet is not great right now. I'm going half an hour. Yeah, Molly, there's actually some apps on the iPhone, I think, that probably are on Android too, but I was watching a video on iPhone apps to do stop motion. That seems like a lot of fun. You can definitely get the family together and produce some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, they do start at 7 and 9. Wow. But that's a great age to encourage creativity and get them going in their creativity and introduce them to more technology. But yeah, that seems like you could probably come up with a lot of different fun projects. If the kids have dolls or action figures or whatever, you could actually produce a little stop motion movie. I think that'd be fun. I just do mine with really quick, like 10 or 15-second unboxings or packing things up or unpacking or whatever, but it'd be quite a project to try to create a movie. Are you still, Molly, are you still using that RX100? I know you said you're using your phone a lot, but do you get that RX100 out, or pretty much just your phone now? Oh, I just noticed you're using the June Crane 3. Yeah, I've got a couple gimbals. I've got this little, which is actually pretty good for the RX100 or kind of the smaller cameras that I've got. This is the M2, but gimbals to me are just, I don't know, it's too much work for me. Just balancing them, even if you become good at it, balancing is a challenge. Oh yeah, Molly, so I do like, actually, I was just watching a video, funny, yesterday when I took the RX100 to Myrtle Beach, and it was great to be able to get wide and then zoom in. But yeah, the stability is not perfect, and the RX on the gimbal does look amazing, but again, it's just, I just don't use the gimbals, and I'm not going to take, even as small as that M2 is, I'm not going to take it with me, and I can't imagine even like in the parks, I can't imagine walking around with the gimbal. That's why I like the Pocket. Yeah. So it's you know, it's got a gimbal and it's pretty light. Yeah, the zoom is amazing on the RX. Actually, I tested the slow motion too. So the hummingbirds here are just coming back and getting 240 frames per second with that RX. The video is not crystal clear, but it's pretty amazing to see those hummingbirds kind of at 240 frames per second. I think it goes up to 960, and I tried that, and it looks pretty bad. 240 is not too bad. 120 looks really good, but it's fun. Sorry, just messing with the autofocus here. It snaps right back to the face very quickly, which is great. I could try the 18 to 55 lens, but I wanted that background blur that this f2 gives me. It's really not too bad. Just a little slow sometimes, but it definitely snaps back on the face. And I did try the 10 to 24 Fuji lens, which is a really wide angle, and it just looks really bad with this camera. Trying to vlog with it is just terrible. I don't know if you guys are subscribed to the channel, but I think check out that video, the 10 to 24 video with the XT200, if you want to see some really bad video. Very warbly. I don't have another camera running. Usually I do. Usually I have two cameras, but I was feeling lazy, so. And I've got, well, normally I do 4K. Today it's 1080, and with 1080 I can do 2 or 3. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to sub to your channel too. I'm interested to see how that movie is going to come out. I'm always looking for new content. I don't know. The reviews are probably going to slow down. I'm sure things are going to get tight. I have to try to come up with other things. I've done some like tutorial videos and stuff on there too, and generally they don't get views for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Maybe people just look at me for camera reviews, but I'll have to try to get creative since I'm not going to be buying a bunch of stuff, I would imagine. Nikon N60, is that a film camera? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Oh, thanks, Molly. Yeah, it's strange. I've never really been consistent with posting and didn't really care to be necessarily. I'm not trying to, you know, having subs is great, but I'm not really trying to just grab subs. And then I did 3 videos last weekend. I think it was last weekend. And the subs were growing like crazy. And just, I think if you produce even decent content and you're consistent, I think you'll grow. Yeah, I figured that was film. I used to shoot film, but it was like the Kodak disc film, if you remember that. And I shot some 110 stuff. I never really seriously got into film. It was more like the smaller cameras, the kind of inexpensive ones. But film was fun in a way. I like digital more though. I guess so, yeah. I remember my first digital camera was a Sony CyberShot. I can't remember the model. It was 3.3 megapixels, took the Sony memory sticks, like the precursor to the SD card. That was That was a big time thing back then. Actually, I think the first one, it was a Mavica that took 3.5-inch floppies. So yeah, that was even, the Mavica was before the whatever Cybershot I had that took the memory stick. The first one took actually 3.5-inch floppies, which was interesting. Good times. In the good old days. And we've been going for about 40 minutes. So thank you guys. I appreciate you stopping by. It doesn't seem like notifications went out for this. It's always interesting. I don't do a lot of live streaming anyway, but it's always interesting to see, like with a live stream, generally people only know through notifications, either through the email or through the YouTube app. And my wife is subscribed, and I have some other folks who are subscribed that didn't get notifications of this. So I guess YouTube's probably a bit overwhelmed right now, and I've been doing a great job with those notifications. Yeah, thanks, Richard. It was right, Richard. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm going to check out your channel. And thank you for the chat. And I won't hold the fact that you're a Canon shooter against you. As a Nikon shooter, we're supposed to hate each other, like the Ford versus Chevy thing. But yeah, Canon. I'm finding Canons to be really great. Actually, the EOS R is pretty amazing. I was surprised how much I like it. I took the EOS R and the Sony A7 III out on the same day, and EOS R is so much easier to use. It doesn't have the dynamic range and all those other things technically, but yeah, it's a great little camera. Well, not little, but oh, you did, Molly. That's interesting. Did you get an alert in the YouTube app, or did you get an email? Oh, that's so weird. I do watch Jared Polin. I like Jared Polin quite a bit. I've been watching him for years. Gotta love the fro. I actually watch a lot of Tony Northrup, just a bunch of different, my subscriptions are my list is pretty long. But Camera Conspiracies, if you haven't seen his channel, he's definitely one to check out. Very funny. It's not like a technical camera channel. It's a guy from, I think he's in Ontario, or he's in Canada anyway, but pretty funny guy. And he does a lot of strange kind of things, but he's funny. Again, not really technical, but very funny. His language is, can be a little rough, but that's probably one of my favorite channels. And Gerald Undone, I've been watching a lot of lately too. He's very, very technical. So if you like the technical explanations, he's pretty good. Oh yeah, I watch Peter McKinnon. I haven't heard of Mark Boone. I'll have to check him out. But I watch a good mixture of people who do photography and video. Matty Hapoya, a video guy. But thanks, Molly. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Check out that Epcot video. I was planning on going there. I haven't been there since they started all this construction, so definitely want to check that out. Thanks for stopping in. And thanks, Donna, for sharing it out and listening as you cook. Hopefully that stuff comes out good. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it. This is much better turnout than I expected. So again, thank you guys. I know there's other things that you could be doing, so thanks for spending some time with me. I appreciate it. And hopefully this XT200 wasn't too bad. Hopefully the video wasn't too bad. Oh, okay. Sorry. Just question about the XT200. So I'm using, this is the 35mm f2, and it depends on if you're going to be using autofocus as to what lens I would recommend and how much depth of field you want. So this is probably my favorite. Let's see if we can. This is the 18 to 55 lens, and it's f2.8 to f4, and it's got a pretty good zoom range. The stability is pretty good. Autofocus is pretty good with the XT200, but that's a good kind of, I think, general purpose lens if you're not looking for a lot of, blurry background. Like this is at f2.2. Can actually probably go a little blurrier. Bring it down to f2, so it's a little bit blurrier, but the 10 to 18, if you're going to put it on a tripod and you want a wide shot, is really good, but if you're going to walk around with a 10 to 18, it's not so great. Hey, Rob, thanks for dropping in, pal. I was going to wrap it up. Maybe we'll go a few more minutes. Yeah, so as far as lenses go, for video, this 35 millimeter, not really going to do it. It was designed as a photo lens, and that's one of the issues with the Fuji system. I'm getting an overheating warning, I think, is that the lenses were designed primarily for photos. Fuji hasn't really got serious about video, except for in the last couple of years. So, thanks, Rob. This is the Fuji XT200 that apparently is overheating. I hope it doesn't overheat. If it does, I might have to shut down. But yeah, I would try, and the kit lens that comes with this, the one I bought, the 15 to 45, actually does a pretty good job with this. The autofocus is pretty good. It's an f3.5 lens, which means you're not going to get a lot of, blur in the background, but it's a pretty good lens for autofocus. Yeah, let me see, is this hot? Oh yeah, it's pretty hot. But we've been going for 45 minutes or so. But no, it's fine, Rob. It'll shut down. It won't burn itself out. Yeah, thanks, Rob. Smash that like button. I appreciate everybody coming out. But BC Taylor, yeah, I would check out if you bought the kit lens version, the 15 to 45, I think that does a pretty good job. I've got some videos on the channel if you want to check it out. The 10 to 24 would be good if you put it on a tripod and you're not moving it a lot, you're not walking with it. And the 18 to 55 is a good, solid all-around lens to give you pretty good stabilization and pretty good autofocus. Oh, you did get a notice. Well, that's good. Looks like they're going out to some, but not others. So actually, I did want to test the XT200 to see how long it would go just live streaming, so 46 minutes or so. And actually, it was on for probably 10 minutes before that. So looks like it can go for at least an hour. I've got an external battery powering it. So yeah, thanks again, Rob, for stopping by. Any questions, Rob, before we wrap it up? I do like the colors in this XT200. I think they look really good. I do like Fuji colors in general. And it's definitely following my eye, even with this older lens, and it's switching eyes when it needs to. So face detect works really well. Sorry for swaying back and forth. All right. All right, I think I'm going to end it there at about 48 minutes or so. Again, thanks everybody for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, I think most of you probably have it. Check out the channel. If you think there's some value there, go ahead and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. If not, if you're looking for camera stuff, just check it out. You don't have to subscribe, but I think there's some decent video there, or decent video about different types of cameras. Cover pretty much the most expensive, not the most expensive, but expensive cameras down to less expensive cameras. So maybe there's something there. Thanks, Rob. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. We'll talk at you again soon.